I wanted that person to stay. I just wanted them to stay with me. I didn't want to be alone. So yeah, it was because I was craving something that I didn't get at home. So I was looking for it outside in my relationship. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, well, I'll tolerate this and I'll tolerate that. I'll forgive you for this and that.
What are some tips for our folks on getting started with forgiveness?
The littlest things that we have done could take, like, I can't forgive you for that. So how can we judge someone else for what they did?
Grace and love. Reminding
Right.
yourself to lead with love. Once you come from that place, everything starts to flow. This is something I've learned years ago, is that we both just spoke about two people who helped create us in the physical, right? And I always believe that those relationships are so important, which is our parents, right? Those are the first relationships we get to experience. We get to know how love works. We get to know how to love, how to be loved, how to feel love, what it looks like. And a lot of the times us, people that look like us, or not even just people that look like us, we grow up in certain households that are not really conducive to healthy love, financially, financial health, even physical health. A lot of us grow up in those type of households, but it's ultimately we're learning those conditioned beliefs from the first relationships that we encounter, which is our parents. And a lot of the things like you mentioned just now, experiencing those when you're forgiving the same person, right? We make those choices based on conditioned beliefs. And like I said, as we become older, we have to make the choice to stop telling ourselves the story. Just because we were raised in a certain household, we have certain conditioned beliefs, doesn't mean that we can't change that. For us, our goal is we are living it. You have a healthy relationship, a healthy love, grow up in a healthy household, for our son, and living and being in those things.
So what does that look like? Because I know growing up, it was just like, I'm just talking about the relationships that I've had I was very forgiving and tolerating, but it wasn't because, I wanted that person to stay. I just wanted them to stay with me. I didn't want to be alone. So yeah, it was because I was craving something that I didn't get at home. So I was looking for it outside in my relationships. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, well, I'll tolerate this and I'll tolerate that. I'll forgive you for this and that, as long as you don't leave, and it's just like, when I think about it, I'm like, wow, I tolerated a lot of stuff. So I dug that grave.
Yeah.
I'm the one who was digging the grave, and I'm blaming everybody else. Like, oh, this person hurt me. They didn't care about me. You know what I'm saying? And feeling less than because they was okay with me being that doormat. So of course they're gonna step all over you. Of course we're creatures of habit. If we could get something that we know we could get, we gonna go get it the best way that we could. So if you willingly giving up, you want to stay, by all means you could stay. While I'm gonna go do A, B, C, and D, and that's what I was allowing in my life. And you're like, oh, it's okay, knowing deep down I'm hurting, but I don't want to be alone.
Wow.
I want that company. That toxic forgiveness, it'll put you through some things that the version of myself I am today, I'd be like, I don't even know who that person was. Like, what? Like, do you know how much power you have just to say, I don't deserve that? That's taking your power back. I don't deserve that. And then in the midst of saying that, you're empowering that person too to realize, listen, what you're doing is not right. You need to check yourself. What is the type of person you want to be? For you to keep doing those things to somebody that you claim that you love, So it's like that toxic forgiveness is just like, it runs deep.
It can run deep.
It can run deep, and you have the opportunity to be like, you know what? God has something that's for me, because it's not supposed to hurt.
What they say, if it's something that you question, it ain't of God.
It ain't of God.
It ain't of God.
If you gotta question yourself, you gotta look through somebody's phone, you gotta You got to be checking social media and all these things. You got to be asking questions like, do you want to be seen with me? Like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Do you even talk about me? Do you don't want to bring me around your family? But it's okay because behind closed doors, you loving on me. Behind closed doors, I'm your number one. I'm your number one. But so that's okay. But everybody else gets to know the real version of the other person. And I'm just getting a representative. Toxic forgiveness, boy. I'll tell you.
Listen, remember earlier I was saying that we can determine the level of the forgiveness of the situation. Severe, simple, you know what I mean? It becomes severe and toxic when you keep on going, same thing over and over and over again. But
it's the boundaries.
That part.
That's what I was lacking. I didn't even know what a boundary was. I didn't know. I thought you just be a good person. And I'm like, I'm just being a good person. I'm doing this. You need something, I got you. Until you ain't got it, and then nobody is there to help you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And just like, well, you be like, well, why nobody want to help me? Because boundaries. You're not setting standards for yourself. You just that person that you are open present box with a whole lot of presents, and people just taking.
I rebuke
the
that.
box that says free.
Absolutely not.
Just taking, and then you don't have nothing for yourself.
With all them hands and dipping in that, it ain't even a present no more. Absolutely not.
So it's a lot. It's a lot.
So I wanted to ask you, for our lovely, lovely family that's watching.
Okay.
What are some tips for our folks on getting started with forgiveness?
Well, I'm gonna say, like I said earlier, forgiveness is not linear. It's in steps. I know a lot of people struggle with the fact that I can never forgive this person for this specific thing. Because there are a lot of topics. Like, we're not going to touch on those topics, but I'm sure that we know, like, especially when we're younger, family members must have done things to us, when you're in those ages where you don't know how to speak up for yourself.
Yeah.
And just seeing things where it's just like, that's just, you feel like it's just unforgivable. But I always tell people, what has helped me is what would Jesus do? And he has forgiven and has blessed many people in the Bible who have done horrendous things and have forgiven them. We are all God's children. I believe wholeheartedly that everyone is good, that we just make good and bad choices with the tools that are available to us in that season at that moment.
Absolutely.
Everything is a choice. Yes, everything is a choice. And every choice has a reward or a consequence. I believe that people can change, have a change of heart, and can grow to be better versions of themselves, regardless of their past. We all have past. There's not one perfect person on this earth. We are not perfect people. We have done crazy things in our life too. The littlest things that we have done, somebody could take, like, I can't forgive you for that. So how can we judge someone else off of what they did? But again, small steps. You don't have to be in a relationship with the people that you're forgiving. You can just forgive. You can forgive to God. You can be like, God, I forgive them, in your heart. But small steps. But in that process too, you also need to be healing. You also need to be speaking life into yourself. You can't just forgive someone and not internally watering yourself. I believe it's like hand in hand, because like I said, like, I thought I was forgiving people, and then when I see or hear, I'd be like, absolutely not in my space.
And you'd be like, wait, hold up, where that came from?
Yeah, and I'd be like,
like, damn, I'm still on it.
And I'm like, okay, I need to be working on me too. I have to work on me. Where's that coming from? That shows me, where's that coming from? What is it that I need to work on?
That part.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna say, like, those little steps help. The healing process. What is it that you want to work on to get to your next level, your next dimension that makes you the best version of you? Forgiveness is going to be all up and through that.
And I want to piggyback off of that. Even within those small steps, and you're like, okay, what's the first step? Like you mentioned, connecting with God and having that first step be grace, because you never know you're not going to know what it looks like.
Right.
Right. So Grace and love. Reminding
Right.
yourself to lead with love. Once you come from that place, everything starts to flow. Like it may be some good days, some bad days, or whatever it is that's going through internally. But that's the first thing that you want to work on internally. It's like, okay, that's the true power of forgiveness, grace and love.
And forgiving with no expectation.
That part.
Don't expect a response. Just don't expect. Okay?
Yes, you can forgive and never speak to the person again.
Right.
Like,
expect what you want to receive when you release and you forgive. Expect how you want to feel. Feel that. What does it feel like if you forgave? What does that feel like to you? Do you feel powerless or powerful?
that part.
Because when you're not forgiving, you're letting that person live rent free in your life. When you don't forgive, when you don't release, you're literally giving that other person power to live rent free in your life.
Absolutely.
You don't want to give anybody else power over your life and how you live it. So
that's right. Absolutely not. We got one mind and one life, y'all.
that's a fact.
But so who is it that you need to forgive? Who is it that you need to ask for forgiveness? Is it yourself? Think about that. And
who is it that you need to forgive?
Yeah, who is it that you need to forgive?
Yeah.
Is it yourself?
Is it somebody from your past?
Tell us your forgiveness story. Share it. You can share your own story with us. Any tips that worked for you?
Yeah, drop it in the comments and make sure that you guys subscribe, like, and share, because I believe this is a very important conversation. And I think that it opens up, a lot of space to have those conversations
and healing
and heal.
So thank y'all for joining us on Love Languages.
Yes, thank you.
As always, y'all, keep growing,
keep
keep healing.
Peace, love, and light.